And with that, fans, welcome to Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois, where it's the WPSL home opener for the Peoria City women's side. I'm Cody Roskins. Alongside me, head coach of Peoria Notre Dame, Mike Baer. Coach, thanks for coming back and joining me this week.
No, I'm excited to be here for the not only the home opener for the WPSL side, but also the inaugural season here in Peoria. The men have obviously played in Peoria and had great success, and now it's time for the women to do the same.
The women are up now as we continue to rattle off their starters. We'll give you the sides that they've missed so far for Lou Fusz Athletic. Audrey Smith, Maggie Duggan, Kylie Anderson, Emily Passini, Ava Bloom, Brooklyn Green, Megan Belrose, Abby Wiederman, Maya Devereaux, and Caroline Ritter are their starting 11. Opposite of them, Bree Corderay, Leah Crotty, Saucy Datakin, Joella Livingston, AJ Mayock, Jordan Murphy, Peyton Rhodes, highlight their starting lineup. Coach, obviously a lot to like coming into this match. Peoria City, first time out on the road. They battled literally the elements and the foe on the field, but they came back with a lot of lessons learned, and they're ready to get things going here at home. Yeah,
actually made the trip over to Indy for that game. It was a difficult game for Peoria City to open the season with. Weather came into play. They were able to get 16 minutes in, and then the weather hit, and there were a long delay. They were able to resume the game not until 9:45 p.m. I was able to stay for the first half, but all the goals came in the second half. They got down 2-0, were able to draw one back, but couldn't quite find that second equalizing goal.
Once again, we are in Peoria, Illinois at Shea Stadium, which typically serves as the host venue for Bradley men's soccer, but over the summer has become a house of nightmares for opposing teams in the USL too, and hopefully for the women's side of Peoria City, they're hoping the WPSL will join in on that home action as well. Again, Lou Fusz Athletic and Peoria City, both these teams have one game in the bank. Lou Fusz Athletic 1-0 on the campaign after a 7-0 drubbing over Junction FC. Peoria City, like Coach said, dropped a nail-biter over in Indianapolis against FC Pride, and they're trying to bounce back here at home for the first time in 2025. Peyton Rhodes will be in goal. The Illinois Illini from Snellville, Georgia, sophomore, will be in between the pipes today for Peoria City. Opposite of her will be Caroline Ritter, the goalkeeper from Lindenwood, sporting the bright orange kit. Coach, it's a nice uniform matchup. We have the freshly debuted gold and black uniforms that we know the men's team is jealous of. Opposite of them, the powder blue and white from Lou Fusz.
Yeah, it looks beautiful up here from up top. But like you mentioned, the gold looks great. It's the first time we're able to see that this season. The new red kit and goal. I'm really excited here. Let's get things underway.
The 309 right behind the home goal is getting fired up and is getting the home crowd amped up here for the home opener in the WPSL for Peoria City. First touch belongs to AJ Mayock, and Lou Fusz will have it in transition. Space in the midfield. Obviously a lot of growing and learning throughout the course of this season, so we're just as eager to see what kind of tactics, tempo, and everything in between will be used between these two sides today. Both these two teams make up members of the Gateway Division in the Midwest Conference.
The game is off to a fast start. If this is the way the full 90 minutes are going to be played, I think we're going to have some tired bodies out there.
And we may see some quick subs. Again, it's been a quick opening minute. A couple of dispossessions in the midfield have led to a quick up and down sequence, which has Lou Fusz looking to capitalize on their first set piece of the night on the near-sided corner. Out-swinging ball into the penalty area. Loose right in front of Rhodes. Rhodes jumps on it, and she'll claim her first save of the day.
Looks like Lou Fusz did place a player on the goalkeeper, and that's why you put someone there for balls that drop down at your feet, and almost was able to create a good goal-scoring opportunity early in the match.
We talk about, Coach, especially on the USL 2 side of things with the men's, and now obviously both this WPSL side and the men's have developmental teams and reserve teams that they can go to, but just how nice it is to get reps. Rhodes is a perfect example of that. Didn't record game action for the Illini last season, but the sophomore here is going to get plenty of reps with Peoria City before she heads back to Champaign this fall.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think we've talked about how useful that is for for players coming off a college season to get some reps and to get ready for their fall playing seasons.
Ball played along the near side will result in the set piece upcoming for Peoria City. Emily Tobin, midfielder and defender from Kansas, by way of Tinley Park, Illinois, will have the service in. She was originally with IU Indy out of Indianapolis, transferred to Kansas back in May of last year, appeared in 17 games last season with 14 starts, just south of 700 minutes played for the Jayhawks. And so she comes from a pedigree of really kind of knowing in certain situations of the game coach, and now moving up a level with Kansas. Solid service into the penalty area. Headed around, finds the foot of the fuse. Crotty will lay it off.
Looks like the game here, we got through the first couple minutes. Things have kind of settled down. Peoria City here getting a good little spell of possession, stringing some passes together.
These at the time being appears to be a more offensive shape. A nice ball played into Tobin. And a big collision, solid tackle from Emily Passini, the captain for Lou Fusz, will generate a throw-in for Peoria City. Trying to find space to operate. Content with laying it off. Ball switched to the opposite wing. And it will stay with Peoria City.
Yeah, Bree Cordroy at the back there. She plays for Illinois Wesleyan, and one of the things I noticed when I was at the game in Indianapolis is she's the vocal leader. Not only is she a captain, but she's also the vocal leader on the field. You'll hear her probably picked up on the microphones tonight, shouting instructions throughout the match tonight.
Well, if there's one thing that is definitely similar in the early going between the WPSL side and USL2 sides, vocal leaders are aplenty. Obviously, we've noted ad nauseum throughout this season and last season about Charlie Dickerson filling that role, and she appears to be at the time being that kind of role here for the women's side. It is worth noting as well, this was not the only women's side for Peoria City in action today. Coach, I know you were keeping an eye on the WPSL 2 side's result today.
Yeah, they played over at my high school, Peoria Notre Dame, this afternoon, and it was a great, well-contested match. Ended up in a 1-1 draw, which kind of sets us up for tonight. I mean, there's been 3 games so far in the history of Peoria City women's soccer, and we've yet to see a victory. So we're hoping tonight is the night for Peoria City.
A little miscommunication on the overlap off the short corner. And we'll have a deep corner throw-in for Lou Fusz. Maggie Duggan, defender from Southern Indiana, will have the throw-in.
Both teams very compact right now. You can see all 20 outfield players are on one side of the field. See if one of the teams can work it out to the other side.
We've given quite a bit of background, Coach, on Peoria City's quick startup and their mix between the men's and the women's team. But Lou Fusz, for those who aren't familiar, is majority based out of the St. Louis area, but they offer a number of opportunities for players in the Midwest, not just in soccer. They offer lacrosse programs, but in the world of soccer, they have so many different youth development programs and camps set up in the St. Louis area. This is not a new gig for them.
No, they're a huge, massive club in the St. Louis area, and they're obviously not the only club as well. You've got St. Louis Scott Gallagher down there. St. Louis City now is going on down in St. Louis on the men's side. So it's just soccer, like we've talked about it before, in St. Louis is considered the soccer capital of the country, and Lou Fusz is a big part of that.
Tobin tried to lay it off for somebody to run on, and instead it will belong to Peoria City. On the throw-in will be Tobin.
And really, ever since that early corner kick from Lou Fusz, Peoria City's really been in control of this match.
Really getting the ball onto the front foot. Wiley pivots, tries to get it upfield, and nothing doing. Crotty in transition. Looks to play it through, and instead Ritter will be there. Another one of the Lindenwood products, Caroline Ritter. There's a handful of Lindenwood players dotted throughout this roster. Hatfield, Ritter, Bloom, 3 out of the 4 that we've named so far. Madison Vasiloff, the forward from Lindenwood, is that 4th player. And this will belong with Lou Fusz. Brooklyn Green with the throw-in. Said her name earlier. Defender from Eastern Illinois. So again, a lot of Illinois-centric talent, as is usually the case. A lot of local, or at least statewide talent usually populate WPSL rosters. And as you were alluding to, Coach, it's because so often than not that they have to be back so quickly for their fall camps.
Yeah, the WPSL season, I'm just learning it as well, but it seems like it's a very compressed season because a lot of the higher level programs, college programs for the women's side, requires their players to be back in early July. So this season has to start in mid-May and be done by the end of June.
Big push forward here by Lou Fusz. Devereaux. Good footwork, is run off the ball temporarily. It will stick with Lou Fusz. Ava Bloom being hounded by Livingston.
Actually had the pleasure of coaching Livingston a little bit on the club side for Central Illinois United. And she's a nice player, super athletic, super smooth, very talented.
Foul given in a somewhat dangerous area. This will be a free kick coming up for Lou Fusz. And from here, you kind of have your choice of options. You can play it in for service, or if you have a forward or midfielder capable of putting a little magic on one, of course, the go for goal is always an option.
I think we'll likely see service here. Lou Fusz bringing up a lot of runners, probably a ball to the back post, and see if they can get on the end of it.
Here comes the low line drive service. Wasn't the best entry, but still presented itself. Solid job on the clearance by Peoria City, and this will allow the shape to reset. Bloom again with the advanced pass over the top. That one doesn't find its mark.
Also find it interesting today over at Notre Dame, it's the same coaching staff that were over there coaching the games, the reserve match, and then over here tonight coaching the WPSL match. Long day for those guys.
Absolutely. Just beyond the 11th minute here, getting ready to hit the 12th. Livingston will lay it off, trying to play a through ball. Cut out nicely by Lou Fusz. Seen solid man marking so far from both sides, but that final third leaving to be desired. Here's a chance for Peoria City. Laid off, chipped ahead, and it was all too easy for Ritter.
And that was Sutter down that right flank. I've seen that before. That's one of our local products for Peoria City coming out of Dunlap High School. Big, tall, athletic, fast, strikes the ball really well. So I think she's going to be a weapon for Peoria City down the right side tonight.
Well, we've noted how many Lindenwood products there are out there. Sutter is one of those products. Started 19 out of 20 games this last year. Of course, Sutter name is fairly well known across the central Illinois area. Currently at Dunlap High School. Max Sutter, a highly recruited athlete slash tight end for the Eagles.
Where do you think he's going to end up?
Somewhere with Power Conference pedigree, if I had to say.
I think he's got an offer from about every top program in the country right now.
Long ball played down that far side. Doesn't quite get it over that left back. Now Lou Fusz trying to find DeVroe. DeVroe with a nice bit of footwork to get it ahead, but just runs out of options. That's the second time now that DeVroe's kind of had some magic with her feet to get it out and push that back line further down the field for Peoria City.
Nice job of team defending there from Peoria City as well. Sent 3 players over there and made things difficult for her.
DeVroe forward out of Missouri, so talked about the Power Conference pedigree. Missouri Tigers soccer program. We'll be happy to see her getting in on the action. That one's still tight roping the line. Thought for a moment that one was going to go out off the foot of Tobin. And this one will belong to Peoria City. Ball being jockeyed for, taken up by Tobin. She's been very active here in the opening minutes. Ball laid off. Can they get a service in? One hops in front of Ritter, and it's all hers.
That was our center referee, Joe Gross. He's actually a Peoria Notre Dame product as well. Coached him in high school, and he's an up-and-coming young referee, does a great job, works really hard, and really cares about his performance out there.
Well, Peoria Notre Dame soccer pedigree is no secret. They've been producing high-level products and kids and characters for the community, and a lot of them do find their way back to Peoria once their playing days are over. Obviously, we've talked on the men's side just this last year, a number of high schoolers from your guys' program did find their way onto the men's roster and rostered into the playoffs. Now, of course, the women's side are getting their fair share, but like you said, even the ones that are playing days are over come back and still give back to the gaming community in many ways, and officiating is just one of the many ways that they can help.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one rostered tonight from Peoria Notre Dame. Haven't seen her yet in the match, but that's Ellen Dahlquist. Very familiar name to the Peoria area.
Absolutely. Craig Dahlquist has been a longstanding member of the Bradley University Athletic Department for many years in a variety of roles. Dahlquist can always be, more often than not, found supporting the Peoria area soccer scene. Big push forward here. Dislodged, and hear that they weren't all too happy with the final decision.
Turned out to be a nice night and a good crowd.
Yes, I was told we're going to get close to a couple hundred fans here in attendance tonight. The parking lot continues to fill up, and so I'm sure many of those fans still enjoying their fair bit of tailgating, as is tradition here for Peoria City home events. I'm sure many of them had the men's game on, which was earlier today. Peoria City's men's side continues their perfect run of things, a 3-0 start through 3 games, and they sit atop the Great Plains Division. And they will take on fellow unbeaten Springfield FC this upcoming week.
I don't think you could start the season much better.
No, I believe you're right. It is hard to be better than perfect. Now, of course, head coach Mike Pay would tell you they are far from perfect. But
he is definitely a perfectionist, but I think that's what makes him the coach that he is. He's very demanding, but also he shows a lot of care for his players.
Opportunity here for Megan Belrose. Into the interior to Audrey Smith. Pivoting around, trying to land off for DeVroe, and that will be offsides. And you can somewhat hear off in the distance, the 309 reminding DeVroe to, hey, time your run. They're part of the reason why it's so hard for opposing teams to come in here and walk away with points. Shea Stadium has quickly become a fortress. USL 2, only a handful of teams have come out and found points or results over the last 2 or 3 years. And growing fan base that is really gotten behind Peoria City initiative on both the men's and women's sides. I know a number of fans made it out to the road opener for this women's team.
Yeah, I think the thought behind starting Peoria City on the men's and the women's side now was that Central Illinois can support a team of this magnitude, and the Central Illinois community has shown up ever since the men's team inaugural season, and now here for the home opener for the women's side.
It was a heck of a tackle which produced the ball into the deep corner. Sliding service in, and there will be a foul given. And this will be on Lou Fusz. And now Rhodes will have it. Again, she had that save in the opening first few minutes off the corner from Lou Fusz, but since then has had a fairly calm ensuing 15 minutes of action.
Yeah, most of the game's been played between the 18s tonight so far. I mean, on the scoreboard, we're seeing that each team's had one shot. Neither goalkeeper, other than the early save you just mentioned, has really been tested so far. So, I'm sure we'll see a little bit more action here as we continue throughout the game.
Good service in behind if she can get on the end of it. Laid off one more touch. Wiley. Emily Tobin now. Working against DeVroe. Mayock floats the aerial ball just north. Not a lot comes out of it. City will retain possession. Mayock again, looping one in behind. Here's a chance for City, and Ritter on her horse was able to scoop it up.
Great job by Ritter, just anticipating the ball coming through the middle of the field and was able to come up and take care of that cleanly.
It was a really well-timed run at the top of the formation. Just didn't quite get that bounce as quick as they wanted it. But still really good look for Peoria City in the early going. But at the same time, we've seen Ritter now come up and play a few threatening passes or free opportunities for Peoria City fairly well. And now Rhodes will be called upon.
Another thing to take into consideration, they're playing on natural grass surface, tonight. Even at Peoria Notre Dame earlier today, that's a natural grass surface. I think a lot of teams now, even in college level, are playing on turf. So it's one of those things. The weight of the pass is a little bit different on natural grass than it is playing on an artificial turf surface.
I've always been a fan, and I've never been a player at any sort of level to kind of critique the differences between the two, but just the feel of the natural grass, at least from a production standpoint, it has always been a favorite of mine. And Shea Stadium is one of the last few remaining in the Missouri Valley Conference. It's a natural grass surface. And, Coach, I don't know if you've ever had an opinion between the two, but it's always nice to still see them well-maintained like Shea Stadium has.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to what I always tell people is if I have my choice between a nice grass field and a turf field, I'm taking the nice grass field. Problem is you don't always see a well-maintained nice grass field, right? And if you have it, if you have inconsistencies in the turf, it causes the ball to not roll true. And but the advantage to the grass over the turf is on turf a lot of times you see unnatural bounces, you see unnatural rolls when you get a really true playing surface with natural grass.
Free ball in the midfield. This will belong. We'll see what the side belong to Lou Fusz, and instead Colby overturned to Peoria City. Nice ball along that left-hand side, trying to find an avenue with some help. Lou Fusz on the front foot, left-footed effort. Doesn't get delivered in, now does. And those are the kind of ones that'll make you hold your breath for just a second longer.
Yeah, for a second there was a 2-on-2 break, Peoria City, again, did a nice job of recovering a lot of numbers to get behind the ball and slow the attack.
So this will be a free kick upcoming for Lou Fusz. This will be Megan Belrose, midfielder from Northern Kentucky, to deliver the service. Ball chipped over the top, headed towards DeVroe and Rhodes. Johnny on the spot, able to get it right off that front toe of DeVroe.
DeVroe was inches away from connecting, and it wouldn't have taken much to slip it past Rose. Rose was coming out. She just needed a touch and just couldn't quite get it.
That was such a well-delivered service in. Takes the one touch off one of her teammates, but DeVroe has been the one to highlight so far. Effort inside, chipped ahead, still free. Body's going flying, and this will be a foul against Peoria City in the final third.
You can hear Bree from the back line telling her teammate, I'm okay with it. I love it. Take a chance. Way to be aggressive. You know, it's worst case scenario, they get basically a goal kick 100 yards away from your goal. So take chances around your attacking 18, and that's what Peoria City tried to do right there.
That's not the first time we've seen Murphy really get into the mix and produce a threatening run. All outside, a lot of speed forward for Peoria City, trying to find an avenue inside, headed and just right of goal. I don't know if it would have beaten Ritter as she hugged that near post, but it would have been close.
Great cross, great header. But I'm starting to like what I see from Peoria City as far as getting the ball out wide, using more of the flanks to get service into the box. I felt like early in the match, both teams were very compressed. There wasn't a lot of space. They weren't taking advantage of the full width of the field, and you're starting to see Peoria City really stretch out Lou Fusz.
Ritter's goal kick just crosses the midway line. So we get into the 25th minute. Both teams have had opportunities up and down. DeVroe's had the best chance of the night, but that last one for Peoria City wasn't all too off the mark. To this point, 2 shots, 1 save, 1 quarter for Peoria City. 1 shot, 1 save, 1 corner for Lou Fusz on the unofficial scoring. And those are the kind of advancing passes Peoria City likes to see. Chipped ahead, looking for Murphy and company. And that one will ricochet out of play and will stick with Peoria City. Quick throw in, trying to pivot. Back to Murphy. Dispossessed, strong tackle. Trying to turn and burn down that far side, but a little too ambitious on it. It will belong to Peoria City.
Yeah, it probably would have made more sense there just to hold up play. As she was turning, she was pretty much all by herself in the attack. Sometimes just hold it up, allow more players to advance forward.
Have some more substitutions coming on. Madison Vasiloff will check into the contest for Lou Fusz.
4, Madison Vasiloff. And 13, Natalie Miller.
And Natalie Miller, that last sub. Shout out to Joe Ringham, our in-stadium PA. Remember, there's a 1-1 substitution as they literally check in on the ground right in front of us. Don't always quite catch them coming onto the field. Midfield's been pretty 50-50 so far, and as we've expected between these two teams who come in as the Midwest Region's Game of the Week. So the respect between these two teams is not just known by us here in Peoria and in St. Louis.
And so far, it's a very evenly matched game. It's just which team's going to break through in the final third to create a real scoring opportunity.
Well, it took until after halftime for Peoria City to scratch across the board in their last match. Meanwhile, Lou Fusz had everything and more than just their way with Junction FC in their 7-0 victory. Other action resulted in FC Pride, of course, taking theirs against Peoria City. Missouri Reign is the one team that, out of the 5 teams in the division, did not play a match thus far. With the odd number of teams, obviously somebody's got to be left out in each cycle.
Yeah, I was impressed with FC Pride when we went over there to watch the game last weekend. Just a real nice team. And they actually had, when I left at halftime, they had much more of the ball, seemed like the better side. Again, Peoria City did a great job, stayed in that game, went down 2-0, drew one back, so it was a competitive game. But FC Pride was a tough opponent.
Quick change of possession has a chance for Peoria City to get out. Pass is just slightly undercooked. It was the right idea. Now laid in behind for DeVroe, and this is what we noted early on. Quick to it and quick through it. She'll go down. Officials will let them play as the ball coasts out of the back for a Rhodes goal kick.
Said her name a few times so far tonight.
Well, it's because she's had quite a bit of the ball, Coach. She's been very good with it at her feet, and almost kind of a John Gates-esque comparison to our last match we had with the men's side. Once she gets it up this near side, it's all bodies forward to try and help her out.
A lot of pace and looks very strong as well.
Especially for under stature, not overly tall, but DeVroe comes into this match, not a ton, in the production column quite yet. Obviously the 7-0 and the action she had last match out was quality, but just the amount she's able to get forward and really test these center backs for Peoria City has been impressive thus far.
Yeah, you can definitely tell for Lou Fusz, she's in the game plan, right? See if they can get the ball to her on the right wing and use her pace to get in behind.
Chipped in behind, Rhodes on the fly. There was an open member of the Lou Fusz with a chance to put a header on it, but I'm not sure even if she would have got it, it would have caught a deflection off Rhodes, but it's been some good goalkeeping thus far.
Yeah, Rhodes have been very clean so far throughout this match.
Through the midfield, big chance here for City. Laid off outside, trying to cross over and taken away by Natalie Miller.
That was developing as a real goal-scoring opportunity. And again, we were talking about how Peoria City's done a great job getting back and stopping counterattacks. Lou Fusz really worked back hard and stopped it. Looked like a 2-on-1, 3-on-1 situation.
A lot of credit to Miller. She just checked into the contest minutes ago and already kind of marked that play with an asterisk. This goes scoreless into the half. Each team now with 2 really good looks. 31st minute we go here in Peoria at Shea Stadium between Lou Fusz and Peoria City in the WPSL Central Region Match of the Week. Nice overlapping play here by Lou Fusz, getting it into the penalty area, driving hard towards goal. Laid off, kick saved by Rhodes. Ball still free and punted ahead.
What a huge play by Rhodes. There was a wide open Lou Fusz player just at the top of the 6. If that ball gets through, it's into an open goal.
Long advance for Peoria City. Passini, the captain for Lou Fusz, will send it out of play and allow her shape to reset. So we have substitutions coming on for both sides. For Peoria City, Seymour will go ahead and check in. And checking in for Lou Fusz, Peyton Hatfield, number 8.
38, Allie Lassiter, and 8, Peyton Hatfield.
And Lassiter will also check into the contest. And this will be a goal kick for Ritter.
It's a game-changing type of save right there from Rhodes.
Absolutely. Again, that's now twice, maybe even 3 times you could count it. The DeVroe chance in on the free kick, that one there, and then earlier off the corner, She's had 3 times she's had to answer the phone, and all 3 times has been very quick to the ball. Ritter's been the same way, though. The couple of Murphy chances as well as Sutter's chance were well answered. Tobin laid off. Nice 2-touch passing coming for Peoria City. Livingston. Along to Peoria City on the far-sided throw-in. Rhodes and company trying to keep them organized. They advance towards that final third. Ball laid off to Tobin out to the left wing. Crossed back inside, trying to get a foot on it. And Lou Fusz answering the bell. Pass intercepted, now moving downfield. Hatfield able to get the play forward. Cassini working it back inside. 2 members of Lou Fusz there, but nobody home. Coach, we're just about 10 minutes and change away from halftime. Obviously, both these sides have generated their fair chances, but you have to like the quality of the midfield, I think, so far the most.
Yeah, I mean, Tobin's on the ball here, right here again. I think she's done some good work down this left wing. I think a lot of the success Peoria City's had is when the ball's gotten into the wide areas. They've been able to deliver service into the box. But, yeah, I think so far it's a story of both teams having just a few quality chances and both goalkeepers standing tall.
That was a case of great on great right there between Tobin and DeVroe. Tough tackle in by Tobin. Saved what could have been a headed towards goal chance for DeVroe.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good matchup so far this match. And you look at them stand next to each other, and they're like 2 completely different body builds.
Exactly.
Creates for a great matchup.
Good touch. Floated just slightly out wide. Trying to get it down that right flank.
Yeah, Lou Fusz is very content just to sit back a little bit, be a little bit more content in defense, keep numbers behind the ball, not waste their legs chasing it around the field, and try to break off on counterattacks.
Tobin has to find some help. It does find its way into the penalty area. Pivoting, trying to find someone to lay it off to. Finally does so. Seymour, and that one will float out of the back.
City substitution to Sammy Senex.
Yeah, nice job there by Annika Klaus inside the 18 to maintain possession. Lay one off for Seymour, and it seemed to be on her weaker foot and tried to force a shot there that maybe she could have done a little bit better with.
She was the goal scorer in their last match against FC Pride. Forward from Ball State by way of Bloomington.
Yeah, she also played club for Central Illinois United, CIU.
And another ball to Tobin down this left flank. They've really liked that option thus far. Seymour trying to drive in, trying to find some help, and her left-footed cross will generate a Peoria City corner. Clever play, though, by Ritter in gamesmanship, trying to play it off like she was hers along that back in line.
Yeah, nice job by the AR on the far side of the field. I believe that is Addie Leffler in the AR2 position on the far side of the field that just called that corner kick, and she is a senior at Richwoods High School.
Be a near side corner for Peoria City. In swinging ball. Nice float action to it. Headed down, and Ritter hops on top of it. That's now the third or fourth quality corner we've seen out of both these two teams.
Seems like it's going to take something special for someone to break through tonight against these two goalkeepers.
Well, if history is anything so far in the brief one-game history it is for the Peoria City women's side, probably get a few more bodies forward in that second half as they try to hunt a winner if it comes down to it. Be interesting to see what Lou Fusz has in store because, again, they were not really tested in that match against Junction FC. Not to, again, bring up the deficit as big as it was, but in a 7-0 contest, your defense is usually not getting tested a whole heck of a lot for the duration of the game. And tonight, I'm willing to bet that they've seen probably as many results in this first half against their defense as they did all of last game out.
Yeah, and their defense and their goalkeeper have held up so far this match against a much stronger opponent.
Seymour lays it off for Tobin, and it will ricochet off of Lou Fusz. It takes a tough bounce for Peoria City. Instead, will go to Ritter. Excuse me, this is Hannah Ritter momentarily for Lou Fusz. Cassini. And that will roll out of play.
You can see what Massini was trying to do there. Just a little change of speed, burst down the wing to get service, and just didn't have the touch he was looking for.
And good clearance from Peoria City. We'll set it up to Passini. Hayden Velk was that last pass before it comes back across the midway line. Hannah Ritter floated forward, and Rhodes will come up and claim it on the hop. Ball lofted around. Finally swung out wide. And that will belong to Lou Fusz along that far sideline.
Yeah, we're into the final 5 minutes here of the first half. These are pivotal 5 minutes if one of these teams can break through before halftime.
This one will stick with City. Hesitant for just a moment. They'll push it slightly forward. Just under 5 minutes to go here before halftime. Again, I'm Cody Roskins. Alongside me, head coach of Peoria Notre Dame is Mike Barron. Coach, we've always hinted on it. The final few minutes of a half can really break or make a match. And in this case, it might be one of those moments if one of these two sides can find out that leader.
Yeah, right now the ball's stuck on that far side of the field. No one can just keeps going out of bounds. It almost seems like both teams are kind of content going into halftime 0-0. We'll see if either one of these teams push for that first opening goal.
Ball lined over the top. Nobody home for Peoria City. Ritter will have it as we creep over into the 42nd minute. Nice give and go passing down that right side. Chipped ahead. Gotta really like the way that Lou Fusz has tried to get forward with it, but Peoria City's done a really good job in running Lou Fusz off the ball when the opportunity presented itself without fouling.
Yeah, kind of like we talked about, it seems like Lou Fusz is very content just to low pressure, drop off, be organized, and then if they can force a turnover, then to break fast
Quick
towards
little
the Peoria
press,
City goal.
And Hannah Ritter will get called for the foul.
And not too much different happening tactically between the two teams. Both teams to be set up in a 4-2-3-1 type of system with a single striker, and it's just, you know, which team is going to really just play better soccer tonight. There's nothing fancy out there. It's just two teams pretty evenly matched, and who's going to have that moment of quality.
Yeah, it's been, like you said, Coach, pretty even through just about every aspect of the game, including the non-run of play, if you will, with the set pieces. We've seen a handful of really good chances from each side.
Yeah, I think you'd have to say Lou Fusz has had the better chances. Rhodes came up huge twice with two big point-blank saves. Peoria City has generated some good quality chances, but I don't think they've tested Ritter the way that Rhodes has been tested so far tonight.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that assessment. It's been no fault of either side and not having a goal this half. Just the either has been really good in there, keeping their team shape and giving an opportunity. There may be one here for Peoria City. It's an even 3-on-3, trying to lay it through. Seymour crosses over to the right, puts it on, and punched away by Ritter.
All right, take back everything I just said, Cody.
Talk about working the keeper. Ritter takes a one-legged jump, more or less, and the one-punch save to keep this game level 0-0.
Really great job by Seymour with the cutback. Just put the defender off balance and really struck the ball well. What a save by Ritter. Reaching back, ball was headed towards the top corner.
Well, we talked about it. If someone can perhaps find one here in the final 5 minutes of the half, it would go a long way into setting the course up for the final 45. Far-sided corner will be an in-swinging ball towards the top. Floated back inside, nearly found its way onside and will. Peoria City with a chance, looped in. Trying to fend off that possession. And this will belong as a goal kick to Ritter. And what a sequence of defending that was for Lou Fusz.
And man, I go back to that save. That was a brilliant save. Reaching back to her left to keep the ball out of the net and push the ball wide.
I'm not sure there was, obviously, I'm not sure there was much more Seymour could have done. She crosses back to give herself the chance, puts it on with the right foot, aims for that back corner, but again, just got to credit Ritter for a heck of an effort.
Referees determine there will be a minimum 3-minute stoppage time.
So you heard it from here in our in-arena PA. There will be at least 1 minute of stoppage, or excuse me, 3 minutes of stoppage time added back on.
We'll see if Lou Fusz can answer with a great chance of their own right here before halftime.
Just about 40-some seconds elapsed into stoppage time. Passini unable to gain possession, but forces the playback. And that one takes an unfortunate deflection for Peoria City. Hannah Ritter now forcing the issue. Ball undercooked. Here comes Lou Fusz. Whipped into the penalty area and headed away. Over a minute now into stoppage time. And this will be Emily Passini with the near-sided throw-in. Vasiloff. And Tobin does everything she can to try and clear it forward. Hannah Ritter laid off. Swung out wide, now cutting in, trying to generate a chance. Just about 2 minutes now into stoppage time of the 3 minutes. That will be added back on, and a heck of a tackle by Tobin. Ritter not phased, played forward, opportunity. Vasiloff laid back. A little miscommunication here. Ball still free, ricocheting around. And smartly sending it out for a throw-in. Over 2 minutes gone here in first half stoppage time.
Peoria City needs a clearance here. Just get the ball up the field big. So far they've done a good job at defending their box, keeping a shot off target, but need to get the ball forward.
Ball whipped in, and that's behind goal. And so Rhodes should be able to eat just about the last few seconds off the clock before we hit the halftime whistle.
Yeah, Joe Gross just took a look at his whistle. I think you're going to see this ball go in the air and the whistle be blown.
Over a healthy amount, over 2.5 minutes gone in the 3 that we would have added back on. It's a very free-flowing first half between these two sides. And there it is. The first half comes to a close in the WPSL home opener for Peoria City. It's 0-0 all between Peoria City and Lou Fusz Athletic. We'll be right back after a short break. You're watching the WPSL.
Peoria, Illinois, where an afternoon together opens up a world of adventure, and every splash becomes a shared adventure, where imagination runs as big as the machines themselves, proving that wonder comes in all sizes.
Whoa!
In Peoria, every adventure begins with just one step, and every doorway leads to discovery.
If you want to improve your game, contact the Yard to book a batting cage or field today.
Is your business surrounded by success?
Ours is.
Absolutely. 100% yes.
Knowing your company is surrounded by the best in the business is a great feeling. And that's the feeling you'll have working with PIP.
They manage our direct mail campaigns.
They produce all of our signage. They print our marketing materials.
For marketing, signs, and print, surround your business with more than 50 years of success. PIP.
Here's another home improvement insight from Custom Bath Solutions. Most bathroom remodels happen for 2 reasons: to keep up with style trends or to keep up with your changing family. We can take today's neutral trends and pops of color and pair them with 2-day tub-to-shower conversions, a spa-like oasis, or a no-barrier shower with grab bars as your family needs. Get started today and save 10%. Call 309-699-1100, click on custombathroomsolutions.com, or visit the Prairie Home Alliance showroom in Washington.
At Auto House of Peoria, we pride ourselves in delivering the best ownership experience in Central Illinois. From newly redesigned state-of-the-art facilities to community involvement right here at home, Auto House of Peoria strives to be your premier auto destination. Shop online at autohouseofpeoria.com today.
Welcome back to Peoria, Illinois and Shea Stadium, where it's 0-0 between Lou Fusz Athletic and the home-sided Peoria City. I want to take a quick moment to thank some of the sponsors that make this broadcast and others in the future possible. Peoria City Soccer on Clutch Sports Media is brought to you by Ducks. Always swing down there, a fan favorite of ours here Clutch Sports Media down on Farmington, as well as Green Chevrolet out on Knoxville. I want to give, again, those sponsors a big thank you for their ability to make this broadcast and others like it in the future possible. As we swing back again, we want to give you a quick recap of the unofficial first half stats between Lou Fusz Athletic and Peoria City. For Peoria City, it's 3 shots, 1 save, and 3 corners against Lou Fusz's 1 shot, 2 saves, 1 corner. Devereaux for Lou Fusz has the quantity of shots so far. Rhodes with the 2 saves opposite of her for Peoria City. In the last few minutes, the big save by Ritter, keeping this game level at 0-0. Again, here at Shea Stadium for the home opener of the WPSL campaign for Peoria City in 2025. Last time out, Peoria City was at the wrong end of a 2-1 result against FC Pride, while Lou Fusz took a 7-0 victory over their initial opponent in Junction FC. I want to give a quick shout out to some of the people that make Peoria City's WPSL side possible. Bobby Parker, Jim DeRose, anchoring this program for the first few years along with the men's side, joining the expanse into the women's game as well, with now 4 total teams making up the complete organization, with 2 developmental teams and 2 teams playing in separate leagues in the USL2 and WPSL on the men's and women's side respectively. We will go ahead and step aside for another short break. You're at halftime here at the WPSL Central Division Game of the Week.
Peoria, Illinois, where an afternoon together opens up a world of adventure, and every splash becomes a shared adventure, where imagination runs as big as the machines themselves, proving that wonder comes in all sizes. Whoa! In Peoria, every adventure begins with just one step, and every doorway leads to discovery.
If you want to improve your game, contact the Yard to book a batting cage or field today.
Here's another home improvement insight from Custom Bath Solutions. Most bathroom remodels happen for 2 reasons: to keep up with style trends or to keep up with your changing family. We can take today's neutral trends and pops of color and pair them with 2-day tub-to-shower conversions, a spa-like oasis, or a no-barrier shower with grab bars as your family needs. Get started today and save 10%. Call 309-699-1100, click on CustomBathroomSolutions.com, or visit the Prairie Home Alliance showroom in Washington.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois. There you see some of the youth soccer that the Peoria community has that are in attendance tonight. It is youth soccer night here at Shea Stadium, so those kids taking in some of the scenes here of the WPSL opener for Peoria City, and it looks like they're having a ton of fun out there in the Shea Stadium grandstands. Can't thank those members of the community coming out and making events like this possible and the expansion of Peoria City Soccer. I want to take another quick moment to thank our sponsors that make this broadcast and others like it in the future possible. Peoria City Soccer on Clutch Sports Media is brought to you by Ducks down on Farmington. Again, one of our fan favorites here at Clutch Sports Media. Always good food, good times. Highly encourage you swinging down there. As well as Green Chevrolet out on Knoxville. Go ahead and swing through and see them as well and tell them that Clutch Sports Media sent you over. As we go ahead and pivot back to the action here as we get prepped for the next phase of 45 minutes, Peoria City and Lou Fusz Athletic currently 0-0. So we are just about over 7 minutes away from resuming the game action itself. Again, we'll give you a quick rundown if you're just tuning in. of some of the stats to this point. The unofficial scoring has it 3 shots, 1 save, and 3 corners for Peoria City. Opposite them, Lou Fusz Athletic, 1 shot, 2 saves, 1 corner. As we get set for the second set of 45. And then we'll go ahead and step aside for one more break as we get set for the next set of 45 here at Shea Stadium.
Peoria, Illinois, where an afternoon together opens up a world of adventure, and every splash becomes a shared adventure, where imagination runs as big as the machines themselves, proving that wonder comes in all sizes. Whoa! In Peoria, every adventure begins with just one step, and every doorway leads to discovery.
If you want to improve your game, contact the Yard to book a batting cage or field today.
Is your business surrounded by success?
Ours is.
Absolutely. 100% yes.
Knowing your company is surrounded by the best in the business is a great feeling. And that's the feeling you'll have working with PIP.
They manage our direct mail campaigns.
They produce all of our signage. They print our marketing materials.
For marketing, signs, and print, surround your business with more than 50 years of success. PIP.
Here's another home improvement insight from Custom Bath Solutions. Most bathroom remodels happen for 2 reasons: to keep up with style trends or to keep up with your changing family. We can take today's neutral trends and pops of color and pair them with 2-day tub-to-shower conversions, a spa-like oasis, or a no-barrier shower with grab bars as your family needs. Get started today and save 10%. Call 309-699-1100, click on CustomBathroomSolutions.com, or visit the Prairie Home Alliance showroom in Washington.
At Auto House of Peoria, we pride ourselves in delivering the best ownership experience in Central Illinois. From newly redesigned state-of-the-art facilities to community involvement right here at home, Auto House of Peoria strives to be your premier auto destination. Shop online at AutoHouseOfPeoria.com today.
Welcome back once again to Shea Stadium here in Peoria, Illinois. Mike Baer back with me here as we get set for the next set of 45 minutes in this WPSL home opener for Peoria City. Mike, we talked so much about the advancing attack through both teams in that first half. The defending was equally as good. That's why we're 0-0. What really needs to change in this second half? I mean, obviously, outside of finding the goal.
I was just going to say, I think one of these teams got to find a way to get it back past one of these goalkeepers. Ritter and Rhodes have been phenomenal in the first half. There haven't been a lot of chances, but when the ball's gotten to the goal, both goalkeepers have made big plays.
And that is kind of where we left off that first half, as it was not necessarily lulling us along, but it was very fluid play back and forth. But as we hinted it out, the final 5 minutes and the first 5 of every half can kind of dictate the match. And right there towards the end, Caroline Ritter, 1-punch save to lay the game level headed into the half. Really good goalkeeping by her. It was a good effort by Seymour of Peoria City. But again, it's tough to beat good.
Yeah, I think right before that save, we were talking how Rhodes had to make a couple point-blank saves to keep Lou Fusz off the board. And right as we said that, Ritter made a remarkable save. Seymour had cut back to her right foot, bending a ball to the back post. Ritter stretches her left hand out and pushes the ball just wide of the goal. A really ridiculous save.
We'll see what more they have in store for us here, as again, we are just over 2 minutes from resuming game action, just waiting the teams to make their way out of the clubhouse behind us, back onto the field, and Coach, again, with this being the home opener, it's been a good turnout. A lot of the crowd stuck around. Now currently at the concessions, we can see the line kind of looping around. 309's been active, and this is the kind of warm welcome that when Bobby Parker, Jim DeRose, and their staff kind of got together with Matt Sheenan, and this is what they dreamt of, was the expanding of the club, the community support behind it, and so far the community has done its part.
Yeah, it was the natural next step, I think, in the franchise for Peoria City. The men's team, few years under its belt, obviously had some great success last season, being a national runner-up in USL2. And now to start a women's team, and they're off to a great start. Been very competitive. Their first match, they lose a close 2-1 game. So far this match, 0-0 against a good side out of Lou Fusz, who's coming off a 7-0 win over Junction FC. So I think they've put out a great product so far. There's a lot of talent in Central Illinois on the women's side, and you can see it on display tonight.
Just behind us, you can see Peoria City making their way out of the clubhouse, and one in particular, ought to be Cordray, running all the way back to the clubhouse, making sure every single teammate got the high five before taking the field. Again, you hinted at her being the vocal leader for Peoria City. We saw her efforts out there in the first half, and it'll be interesting to see what other substitutions are made to try and, again, as you said, find that leader. We haven't seen Ellen Dahlquist yet, Kilman, Langstaff, Senek. We imagine that we will see a fair share of those players make an appearance here in the second half. Lou Fusz, on the other hand, was very active in the substitution department, made 3 or 4 moves in that first 45 minutes. And again, early in the season, conditioning maybe not all the way there yet.
Yeah, it seemed like every time we look down, Lou Fusz was bringing another player off the bench. And so we'll see how that plays out in the second half. You know, Peoria City maybe has a little bit heavier legs if they have to go to their bench a little bit sooner in the second half. We'll see if there's any tactical changes coming out of the locker rooms. But, you know, it looks like both teams are, well, actually, Peoria City's out on the field. Haven't seen Lou Fusz come out of the locker room quite yet.
Yeah, of course, the timer on the clock here at Shea Stadium isn't necessarily a hard cutoff, but it is a fairly solid guide. And that has now expired. I can see just through the window behind us that they are getting ready to make their appearance. But yes, Peoria City has taken the field, and they are ready to go, currently doing their warm-ups. And for the most part, it appears to be the same 11 that ended the half will begin the second half, with the exception of Sammy Senek, who I can see will be joining them in the warm-ups.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, too, seeing Lily Sutter and Sammy Sedek alongside each other in these warm-up activities. They played alongside each other at Dunlap High School. We're sectional champions there for their high school program here in Central Illinois.
Senek's one of a few Illinois State products that dot this roster. Now, if anybody knows anything about Central Illinois rivalries, Bradley and Illinois State, the only thing they agree on is that they don't like each other, but Bradley does not sport women's soccer as a varsity program, so there's nothing really, I guess, of blood there between the two programs. So it's kind of a unique optic.
Yeah, you know, maybe this Peoria City women's thing in Bradley's backyard will inspire the athletic program to add a women's team.
It would be very cool to see. Again, Shea Stadium, home to Bradley's men's soccer program. And just down the road, about 40, 45 minutes away, sits Illinois State University, and the I-74 rivalry essentially anchored this community for a number of decades, all the way back to the early 1900s.
And there is a connection between Bradley and Illinois State, because the head coach of the women's program at Illinois State is Raleigh DeRose, the daughter of longtime legendary coach here at Bradley, Jim DeRose. And also president of Peoria City.
It's always coming around in a circle. And that's how you get these expansion clubs off on the right footing. You have that kind of overlap, familiarity is in the community. People know that there's going to be thought, time, and purpose put into the programs, and that's how the community gets just this involved this early. But it appears we are ready to get the second half underway as Lou Fusz sends it away, and here we go in half number 2. 0-0 between Peoria City and Lou Fusz Athletic. Pass sent out of play will belong to Peoria City. They will operate from left to right across your screen. Lou Fusz will operate from right to left in the powder blue uniforms.
We saw a very frantic start to the first half. We'll see if we see much of the same here in the first 2-3 minutes here of the second half.
Right idea to try and push that pass forward to Senek. Whipped out wide, taken away by Peoria City. Freedom to push ahead. Mayock tries to chip it over, but chipped it over everything.
From that distance, it's going to take something special to beat Ritter, especially from what we saw from her in the first half.
It wasn't necessarily a horrible idea, but maybe just, again, we've kind of seen it and noted on it. Peoria City playing here at Shea Stadium does denote kind of an awkward wind tunnel at times, even if it's not that breezy out. You have the trees, which kind of shield half the field on one side running across Nebraska Avenue, and then you have literally I-74 running over our right-hand side down below, and with all the free-moving traffic, kind of creates a gust out of that end of the field.
Call that home field advantage.
It's definitely something. Depending on who's attacking that end, they might not call it an advantage, but pretty calm night, beautiful night for soccer here in Central Illinois. A little overcast at times, but it is quickly tuned away into one of those picturesque Illinois nights. Senek chips ahead, ball out wide, big chance for Peoria City. Senek calling for it, trying to get it to her, and it's cut away.
Yeah, the Senek name is very prominent in Central Illinois community. Sammy's father is Peter Senek. He's actually the head coach of the Dunlap High School women's program. And her brother, Nick Senek, plays in a Division I program at Creighton University.
If anybody knows anything about men's soccer at the collegiate level, Creighton is historically one of the powers, routinely making the NCAA tournament, hosting NCAA tournament games. And the state of Nebraska hosts their state soccer championships out at that beautiful new facility they have, which is right down the road from, I believe it's called the CHI Health Center now. If you can't tell, I'm kind of from around the area a little bit, so any time to mention the Blue Jays is a good time.
Yeah, just down the street from where they host the College World Series for baseball.
Charles Schwab Field.
I've seen some video and pictures from the Nebraska State High School Championships, and it is unbelievable the number of fans that they draw.
If you had to ask random fans, they would not say that's from a Midwestern state, much less Nebraska, but Ritter coming to the close. That's probably the third or fourth time where it hasn't registered a save, but it might as well have, because if she's not there, that's in on goal.
A nice run from Sutter from the left wing, just making a diagonal run through the middle of the field, and there was a lane for her to get there, but a great job by Ritter of coming out and cleaning it up.
You can really see how aggressive Peoria City wants to be. Lou Fusz is kind of okay giving space in the midfield as long as they've got bodies back.
Yeah, it's a lot of what we saw in the first half. Just get numbers behind the ball if you're Lou Fusz, stay organized, stay compact, and hope to play off the counterattack. So we'll see if there's any changes here in the second half, but it looks like much more of the same.
Usually only 4 or 5 forward at a time for Lou Fusz, keeping the other 5 back in defense with their 4 members of the back line and perhaps a holding midfielder. Meanwhile, Peoria City, much like their counterpart on the men's team, is very centric in getting forward and a little bit of press. All playing forward. Trying to get ahead, and again, just not a lot doing before DeVroe picks it up, chips it back, post, Lou Fusz opened the scoring. We talked about her in the first half, but DeVroe able to get forward and create things has pointed out to be a good time for the Fusz.
I was just going to say we hadn't mentioned her name so far this half, and first time we do, it's a counterattack down the left wing and a beautiful ball to the back post for a header finish.
Didn't quite catch the number on the scoring effort. I was checking my board, but we'll be reminded for the official scoring here in just a moment. But for the time being, Peoria City will have to dig themselves out of a 1-0 hole here at home.
Yeah, at first I couldn't tell if that was going to be a cross or a shot, and it was a beautifully placed cross to the back post and headed back to the near post for Lou Fusz' opening goal of the game.
Lou Fusz goal scored by number 27, Megan Belrose.
And so the unofficial scoring has it to Megan Belrose. And that will belong to Peoria City. So Megan Belrose opens the scoring here at Shea Stadium, 1-0. Off the assist from DeVreau.
I think if you're Peoria City, you don't have to change too much at this point. There's still a lot of game to be played. 40 minutes plus of time left to be played in this match. They've already had a lot of the ball so far in this second half. It created a good scoring opportunity. And here's Sutter again on the left wing.
Mayock, nice pass out to Sutter. Sutter on the advance, plays it back inside, free ball, and will escape out the back and set up the City corner.
Good response from Peoria City to get down the field, get it out to Sutter, and earn themselves the first corner of the half.
So again, that scoring goal from Belrose in the 50th minute off the assist from DeVreau, and it'll be a far-sided corner upcoming for Peoria City. They've had a few chances off corners, haven't tallied one home yet. In-swinging ball, kind of a low liner towards goal, and it's going to be Ritter all over it.
Ritter clean again. That's not an easy ball to handle. That was whipped in hard into the 6-yard box, and she just jumped up and claimed it clean.
She's definitely had one of those performances that has her set up for a performance of the match type night. I know everybody once in a while wants to credit the forwards for scoring, but sometimes it's up to your keeper to keep the game where it has, and she's put a tremendous effort in.
It doesn't get much better than the save she made in the first half on Seymour.
No, we're going to be talking about that one till the end of the night. Again, Seymour essentially not one on keeper, but had eluded her defender marking her, crossed over with the right foot, and had it just about in front of the 6. But a leaping punch save from Ritter held the game at 0-0 headed into halftime. Peoria City throwing deep in their own defensive third. .309 trying to rally the troops here into the second half. And out of play belonging to Peoria City. Ball free, floating to DeVreau. 2-on-4. Bloom. Good job by Peoria City to get back and cut off the initial approach. Ball whipped out wide and nobody home for Lou Fusz.
Seems like every time DeVreau picks up the ball, you hold your breath a little bit.
I'm telling you, she has that little bit of John Gates to her. For those that tuned into the last men's broadcast, she gets the ball and she's just so electric with it, able to spark stuff even if she's not the one scoring the goal. Obviously, the effort she puts on in defense is not all too shabby either. Senek with the pressure defense against Bloom. And now this will have a Peoria City possession, played up the near side. And that one will kiss off the press box, off Emily Murphy. Ball swung outside to Murphy. Murphy, big run forward, trying to find some help, back inside the 6, still free and kicked away.
Great effort there by Peoria City. Murphy got down the wing, played a great ball across. Sutter was coming again from the left side, diagonally across the 6-yard box and just couldn't quite connect. Ball found its way all the way to the back post. Great tackle by Lou Fusz on the backside to save another goal-scoring opportunity.
That was the goal scorer, Megan Belrose, who came out of the midfield and saved what would have been a Peoria City goal. However, City does have it on the throw-in. Ball inside over Ritter, and it just barely went wide. I thought for a moment, Coach, that one was ricocheting in.
It looked to be. Ritter was caught out in no man's land. It was an open goal and was just fortunate it didn't end up in the back of her net.
Well, Ritter's been more than solid on corner kicks today. It'll be another far-sided chance, in-swinging ball.
They're going to have to bring this out a little bit further because Ritter can claim anything inside the 6-yard box.
Does go that way, north of the 6. Emily Murphy out there. One touch and go. Murphy with the service, back post. Headed around, still in play. Chipped back inside, and it's Ritter again. She has just been nails tonight.
And that was Murphy again on the right wing. She's showing a little something. I know she's our striker, but she's finding her way out to the right side of the field and having some success getting down the wing and getting service into the box.
Now a chance in the attack on the counter. DeVroe for Lou Fusz. Played in behind. Going to have to be Rose, and it's 2 to the good for Lou Fusz. 57th minute goal, and Lou Fusz has taken firm control of this game.
What a change of events. 2 great opportunities from Peoria City in the attacking third of the field. And next thing you know, they're pulling one out of the back of their net.
Just another tough break. Again, Peoria City trying to find that equalizer. Gets caught out a little bit in the counterattack. Sent off by DeVroe. Once again, finds the back of the net.
Surprise, surprise. It's DeVroe again. She just draws a lot of attention when she picked up the ball in front of the Peoria City back line. The Peoria City defenders stepped towards her and opened up a lane to be able to slid a ball in and create a one-on-one opportunity.
So 2-0 in favor of Lou Fusz, and they continue their strong goal differential start to the season, now +9. Trying to get a ball in behind. Peoria City's looked like, at times, the better team in the attack, but Lou Fusz has just picked their chances just a touch better tonight.
But that's soccer, right? It doesn't matter how much you have the ball. It's what you do with the ball when you have it.
And Ritter will be all over it in the 59th minute. Again, still time for Peoria City to battle back. This is far from over.
And they've created some real good opportunities this half. They just haven't been able to get one past Ritter. It's been the story of the game.
So for Peoria City's sake, they're hoping this game comes a little closer to the median of how the run of play's been. Lou Fusz, again, not as much on the ball or quantity of chances, but they have manufactured 2 very worthwhile goals. Opposite them, Peoria City's obviously had just a touch more on the quantity, and their quality hasn't been bad. It's just, again, that the hardest part of scoring the goal is putting the ball into the back of the net part, Coach, as I'm sure you can attest. And so far, that just hasn't clicked in the equation yet tonight.
Yep. And still, like we talked about this before with the men's team, it's still early in the season. You're still getting to know players. They haven't had that much time together. Some of that's just, a ball from out wide into the box. It's just the timing of the run and knowing your teammates and where the pass is going to come and where your teammate's going to make a run. And some of that might just take a little time to develop. We always say defending comes first, goal scoring comes as the season progresses.
Well, we've seen that with the other teams. Just as you noted, with the men's team, they were a much more defensive team in their first season than they were in the goal scoring. And then year 2 comes around. It's like, okay, we can score a little bit more here and there. And then last year, you see the explosion. And no one's saying it's going to take 3 years for the team to start putting together an offense like that. Peoria City had one of the best offenses in USL 2 a season ago, but they've definitely shown the capability to get the quality of looks on. And now Sammy Sinek running point, swings it out wide. Once again, trying to find their way in on goal. Great move, chipped back inside, still not in there. Running on Sutter. Still free, pivots, shots, Ritter on the ground, corrals it against the grain.
Ritter's been super clean as well, just with that collapse dive, getting to ground, and then she doesn't spill anything. We talk about goalkeepers being clean. We mean they're not creating rebound opportunities. On crosses, she goes up, she catches it, she doesn't spill it. When she gets down to make saves on the ground, she doesn't spill it. She keeps it within her body.
That's just another chance. Peoria City's gotten oh so close. They've been knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell. Just waiting for one to be left open, and there, again, right idea, trying to sneak it on a nice pass over the top. Lily Sutter that time. This one will belong to Peoria City along that far side throw-in.
Peoria City substitution, 5, Joelle Livingston.
Now Joelle Livingston will make an appearance here for Peoria City. Midfielder from Incarnate Word in Forsyth, Illinois. I'm not sure if that was her family. I saw it right there before the game, but a couple of people sporting Incarnate Word t-shirts, and can't imagine that's all too common here in Peoria, so obviously want to give them a shout out. They were here well in advance of 2 hours for the game, taking in the tailgating and stuff, so they're definitely getting the most out of their Peoria City experience.
I think it's one of the best parts about the Peoria City experience is it's not just a soccer game, it's a family event. You know, the tailgate opens at least a couple hours before the match, and there's food vendors, and there's just the community comes out and just spends time together, eats some good food, and prepares for the game.
Peoria City, as we get into the 63rd minute, trying to find a way to claw one back. And if it's been said once, it's been said 100 times before, the most dangerous lead in the game of soccer is 2-0. Ritter will take it on one hop.
Yeah, I just looked up Ritter's season she had at Lindenwood last year. She was a second-team All-OVC player. She started 15 of the 16 games for Lindenwood and had a goals against average of 0.74.
It's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's hard to beat better than less than a goal a game.
And I'm not surprised
from
what I've seen tonight.
Absolutely not. And again, it's not that Rhodes, opposite of her in Peoria City, has been bad either. She's had a couple of really good saves, but again, it's just the two that's gone through, and that sets the table for Peoria City as now hunting the game as they get it out wide.
Yeah, and I don't think you could ask much more from Rhodes on the two goals that she conceded. One was a ball to the back post, and it's a header inside your 6-yard box. And the second one was a one-on-one opportunity.
They were trying to hunt out Emily Murphy on the service out wide. Cordray now wide. Right back to the interior. Crotty loads up a shot. And post off the crossbar. Still a free. What an effort from Crotty as she tried to open the scoring for Peoria City. Chipped outside. And this will belong as a Peoria City corner.
You just feel like Peoria City deserves a goal tonight. They've generated plenty of goal-scoring opportunities. Again, what a night by Ritter, but feels like you mentioned, we've been knocking on the door. We just got to get one through.
Those are always the most heart-wrenching for a goalkeeper. You make such a good effort to get it up and off to the crossbar, but it floats right back in front of goal. Heads up defending by Lou Fusz. Out-swinging ball on the corner towards that near post north of the 6. And this will belong with Lou Fusz.
But there's always that threat for the counterattack from Lou Fusz. So as much as Peoria City is generating chances and having the ball in the attacking half of the field, it's one counterattack away from being down 3-0, so you got to be careful.
Klaus checks back into the contest for Peoria City. She'll be along this near side. She generated a really good chance with Seymour in that first half. And the ball tackled free. Crotty. Just trying to find some open avenue, but really good defending from Lou Fusz. Has it as another Peoria City throw-in. Nowhere to really go on the throw-in, able to get it to Crotty. Trying to get it back towards the penalty area. Emily Murphy comes and saves the possession. Leah Crotty. Again, they'll whip it out wide. Step, step, trying to get to that left foot, trying to play it through, comes back to her. Wrestled out of play for a goal kick.
Just a little unlucky there, just deflected back off of Peoria City out for a goal kick. But it seems like the second half, some of the most success Peoria City had is down this right-hand flank.
A few more subs for Lou Fusz. Hatfield checking back into the contest. It was a three-person rotation for Lou Fusz. We'll get you those as soon as we can. Aerial ball finds its way to the feet of Peoria City. Chipped outside. Now here's a good opportunity into the wide area. Ball still left free. Mayock chipped in. There's Ritter again. There's been a few times that Mayock's really looked to try and push the issue there. And a lot of times it's resulted in good opportunities for perhaps a rebound.
Those high, hard shots are tough to handle, and Ritter did a nice job not getting too far off her line and was able to go up and collect that one clean again.
One touch passing, leaving it forward, sneaking out the back. Klaus. Chipped inside, Ritter was there, and Murphy making a central run. Was hoping that may come in just a little bit sooner, but again, Peoria City's done a really good job in the final third of executing a pass. It just so far hasn't resulted in a goal.
And again, coming down this right flank again, I think the second half, again, the right side has been a positive note for Peoria City, but it's also coming down the left side as well. I just think Peoria City's doing a great job using their flanks, going at defenders and getting balls delivered from wide areas.
DeVroe comes away with it. DeVroe played in, onside. Vasiloff, and an easy stop for Rhodes.
I think we were just talking about this a couple minutes ago. It's all Peoria City for 5 minutes straight, but one break from Lou Fusz and you're about pulling the ball out of your back of your net. So you got to be careful on those counters. You can't fall asleep defensively.
Peoria City trying to build up the advance. Ball played in behind, lofted pass in, and just a heavy touch. We'll give it back to Lou Fusz.
It's one of those things where it's a 2-goal lead right now. If Lou Fusz is able to get a third goal, it ultimately ends the game, right? So you want to get numbers forward, but you don't want to leave yourself exposed to where you're going to give up that third goal.
You don't want to say necessarily playing into Lou Fusz's hands. You're just playing into the way the game is right now. Again, you are hunting that 2-0 deficit. And they've had just so many good chances on the doorstep, but perhaps a lesser keeper lets a few through, but Ritter has not been a lesser keeper tonight. So we're into the 70th minute, not a ton of time left. You wonder how much more Peoria City will have in the tank this early in the season with the amount of times they've gotten forward. They've looked good tonight, haven't seen too many heavy legs, but like you said, there's that fine line of getting aggressive in the offensive third and trying to make sure you're not completely out of it by surrendering a third.
That's right.
Rhodes there, and wouldn't you know it, DeVroe was not all too far behind.
In 5 minutes.
Down the line. Pass came in just a little too hot. It's angling towards the center of play. Again, Lou Fusz in transition, able to get by the would-be tackle. Back inside, DeVroe, and a blocked save by Rhodes. And that might be the first time tonight DeVroe hasn't had her way in on goal. She has been lights out today, but Rhodes slammed the door shut.
And really, there weren't that many attacking players running the box for Lou Fusz. It was pretty much her by herself, but what a ball, a teasing ball behind the back line across the 6, and Rhodes with a phenomenal point-blank save.
Didn't catch it super clean, but as a goalkeeper, the base job is just making sure it doesn't go into the back of the net, and Rose has done a good job in those tight window situations tonight. All on that back end line, it will belong to Rhodes on the goal kick. So we have another substitution coming in for Lou Fusz. Brooklyn Green, who started the match, will check back into the contest.
And the game changes completely if Peoria City can just find a way past Ritter one time.
It definitely opens it up and swings the momentum back. The crowd gets back into it. And again, there's not a ton of time left, but still, lesser goals have been scored in fewer minutes.
Not a lot of time, but 20 minutes in soccer, it's a long time.
And we will obviously get the added stoppage time back on top, which, if I had to guess, and I was okay last year in doing it, I would say anywhere between 4 minutes and 5 minutes right now. I would say probably nothing more than that at the time being. If we get a Peoria City goal or another goal from Lou Fusz, you could see that get closer to 5 to 6. Tough physical play on the wing. Playing on, line back inside. Both sides being very strong on the ball now. Mayock with an effort. Mayock off the bar again.
Did Ritter get a touch on that? Could you tell?
I think she might.
I think she might have touched that. Could ask Coach DeRose, was there a touch? Was there a touch? Yep, there was a touch, slight touch.
If there's anybody who's seen some stellar goaltending in his time here at Bradley, Jim DeRose has seen about all of it, and Ritter's putting on a clinic tonight. It will set up a Peoria City corner. They haven't scored on one tonight. They've generated now 7 to Lou Fusz's 1. High arcer towards the top of the 6. Will stay with Peoria City. Murphy takes one size up dribble. Still free, and it's going to be taken in by Lou Fusz. Chipped ahead to DeVroe. And somehow she comes away with it.
Hey, we kind of mentioned about shots from distance against Ritter. It's going to be hard to beat her. But Peoria City's had 3 shots this half.
Hit the crossbar.
That have almost been perfect shots. And that time, Ritter had to get just a little fingertip on it to push the ball over the bar.
Perhaps a tactical foul given that time by Lou Fusz's Hannah Ritter, the Truman State product. And now will be another 3-player swap for Lou Fusz as Ritter will come off. Kylie Anderson, Megan Belrose comes back in.
I will say Lou Fusz has been keeping the 4th official, Marty Dahlquist, busy in his book tonight.
Absolutely. And again, it's not the reason that they have the 2-0 lead, but they've definitely been having the luxury of keeping everybody fresh with said 2-0 lead. Trying to play it in behind again. It was blocked. Just getting behind Emily Murphy. Forcing the pickup will be Murphy as we get into the 76th minute. Fusz find it off her advancement. Ball out wide again. And we'll stick with Lou Fusz.
fireworks following tonight's match.
Are we going to broadcast the fireworks?
I don't believe we are, but we do encourage all of those in attendance tonight. If I remember right, last year they were pretty much shot off just to our left, and looked like the sun opened up on us there for a little bit.
They were impressive.
It was definitely impressive. Peoria City knows how to do the fan experience the right way. That was all we were trying to pack up after the broadcast, and all of a sudden the sky's
Lights
just
turned
orange.
off.
Peoria City trying to find a way to get forward here. Again, while tonight looks like it will be a loss in the column, Peoria City will take a lot from this experience. And again, taking a team that scored a ton of goals in their first match, holding them scoreless through the first, and really generating some good chances. And they still might yet get that first home goal of the season.
You know, as a coach, I'd be much more concerned if you weren't generating chances, if you were just stuck in your half of the field defending the whole game. And that's not been the case for Peoria City tonight. They've had a lot of the ball, so they've shown that they can possess the ball. And not only that, but they've been able to generate several goal-scoring chances. It's just they've had a hard time getting it past Ritter tonight.
And that'll happen. Every once in a while, you'll come across a keeper who's just on her game, and that in itself is a learning experience, and his bodies get tangled up, and it will be a foul against Peoria City.
You know, I look at two sports where a goalkeeper can make a huge difference. It's hockey and soccer. And sometimes, you know, you're just going up against a goaltender or a goalkeeper that's just having a day. And today it's Ritter. She's just been tough to beat.
Not only has she been tough to beat, but we haven't touched on it enough, is how well her distribution has played a factor into the attack of Lou Fusz, if you will. I mean, whether it's hunting out a player on the end of one directly or leading or even giving a hop or two and letting someone like a DeVreaux or someone run onto it is kind of flipped the field at times.
Yeah, kind of the levels of goalkeeping. It's, you know, the first thing is just keep the ball to the net,
Absolutely.
right? It's just, what can I do to keep the ball in the net? The next level would be, can I cut out crosses? Can I control my box? Can I pick up through balls? And then the third level would be, can I distribute the ball? And I think we've seen tonight from Ritter, she can do all three.
Second team all-conference for a reason in the Ohio Valley. And this one towards Rhodes. Pretty much didn't have to move. Maggie Duggan was the one on that free kick service. Just over 10 minutes left to go before we get into stoppage time. And that one will go off of the carp and will belong with Lou Fusz. Ava Bloom comes back into the contest. Again, another one of those Lindenwood products. Another Lou Fusz throw-in. And Crotty will send it out of play, and we'll set up another Lou Fusz throw-in. This one may have even escaped out just a little bit closer towards us here than I initially thought. And that one will belong as a corner kick.
And this is where the clock starts to work against you at this point. You're down 2 goals. This corner kick, you're going to see 30 seconds run off the clock, and you're just fighting an uphill battle at this point.
It's kind of like that old boa constrictor metaphor, right? They just tighten, squeeze down, doesn't give any room or time back. I will say I can't remember which contest it was, but as Rhodes comes to the save here, there was a USL 2 contest I was watching, I want to say earlier this week, where a team was down 1-0 at home with about 4 minutes left, and they came back to score 2 in the final 4 plus stoppage time to win the match. And so we're not saying anything like crazy like that's going to happen here tonight, but there is always that kind of optimism about an attack, and those are always why you still push forward, because it would have been very easy in situations like that, as you've seen, Coach, to kind of put your head down and be like, okay, we'll see this out and get back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, I've seen crazy things. I've been coaching for 20 years, and I've been involved with some wild games. And from experience, I can tell you the game's not over till the game's over. So if you're Peoria City right now, you know, the tides have kind of turned here. They had a lot of the ball there for most of the half. They were creating a lot of chances, and now they're starting to defend out of their own half of the field. They got to get some control back, take some chances, lump some balls forward, and you know, fight till the end at this point. Just fight till the end.
Haven't gotten the ball out left a ton here in the second half. They've been really, or excuse me, out for their left, our right it would have been, but they've really worked the right-hand side of the field really well in the second half. Unofficial scoring to this point in the contest, 9 shots, 4 saves, 7 corners for Peoria City. As they try to put it in behind, Ritter will come and collect it. It'll be 5 shots, 6 saves, 2 corners for Lou Fusz Athletic.
I think that's the third time this half we've seen Sutter, the left wing from Dunlap, start on the left side and work her way across the middle of the field and look for a ball through. Just haven't quite been able to connect that pass yet this half.
Start of the 18. Turning, trying to get it inside. Crotty was there. Here's Sutter. Duggan trying to get forward. All laid off once more. Peoria City, a nice job of picking out some space. Again, Lou Fusz with 7 back right now.
This is where if you're the Peoria City coaching staff, if you got any tricks up your sleeve, this is where you pull them out. And here's a substitution.
Seymour will come back in, and Devereaux will also check back in as each side makes a late move.
You know, and if we draw back to that first half, Seymour had the best chance for Peoria City in the first half in the waning minutes before halftime. See if she can create a little spark for Peoria City.
Yeah, well, the outcome is not signed, sealed, and delivered. It is definitely on its way to looking like a Lou Fusz victory, and they would start the campaign 2-0 in the WPSL season. Again, their previous result, a 7-0 victory over Junction FC, as Devereaux, with fresh legs, coming back in and is once again making things happen for Lou Fusz. Seymour. Murphy trying to play on off Seymour, and it will belong to Lou Fusz here into the 85th minute. As we will have another move for Lou Fusz as Emily Passini will come back in.
Lou Fusz substitution, 23, Emily Passini.
Devereaux splits 2, trying to turn the corner, and a hard tactical foul, and that will be an immediate yellow on Crotty.
Honestly, a smart challenge. If she doesn't make the play there, Devereaux's dribbling into the box with a lot of room in front of her.
This will set up a free kick from just outside the 18 for Lou Fusz. Essentially call it a very short corner. It's pretty much in line with where the corner flag would be. Into the 86th minute. Ball chipped back post. Murphy has it, trying to break out and give it to Sutter. Ball's played out just a little bit too far. Throw again. And Cordray put it forward. Crosses back to the inside. Mayock chipped over the top, and that pass has been there a time or two tonight, but perhaps needing another step or two was Seymour, was the closest carp there.
Ritter just does a great job playing off her line a little bit. She reads the game. She anticipates the game so well, ready to pick up any of those balls that squirt through.
DeVreaux kicking into another gear. DeVreaux on her horse. DeVreaux upended. And that'll be another yellow on Peoria City. And that was just north of the 18, I think.
Yeah, right on the border. So at this point, you're going to probably have a 5-6 man wall. You know, I'll tell you, though, from a free kick taker's perspective, sometimes these close ones are more difficult than being a few yards away where you can get the ball up and down over the wall.
I was just about to ask, Coach. It always kind of seems like you would rather have it maybe a 3 or 4 yards further back than this, or even 10, kind of like if you're on the men's side, we see with Jose Gomez all the time. But here you're not giving your goaltender a ton of room to operate, so if this doesn't have much bend, it better be tucked into one of the corners almost.
Yeah, a lot of times you want to go up and down over the wall, but it's hard to get the ball up and down in such a short distance of 18 yards. See if she can do it.
Yeah, that one will sail into the trees, and as you said, it almost has to be chipped at that point, and there's just no room to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times in those scenarios, you got to take a little bit of weight off your shot, and it's more difficult to get it down, or you got to try to go around the wall. And if the wall's set well, that's hard to do as well.
So Peoria City able to get out scot-free on the free kick as we are in the 88th minute. Getting ready to collapse into the 89th. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Clutch Sports Media bringing you this one in the WPSL home opener for Peoria City. Again, they'll be back at home a few more times this season, so make sure you find your way out. Also want to thank the National Soccer Network for picking up and distributing this one across their YouTube channel tonight. Ball played in behind. Could this be it for Mayock? And just getting it away in time was Passini. Another big move forward. On the edge of the 18, trying to hunt out that back post, and it will be a goal kick.
Should we announce the unofficial woman of the match?
Yeah, Coach, absolutely. Who's your nominee? I don't think we'll have to take.
I'm having a hard time coming up with a name. Why don't you try, Cody?
Ritter. Any other answer is probably wrong.
I'll second that.
Yeah, Caroline Ritter has put in a heck of a performance. Obviously, everyone's very partial to giving the goal scorers credit. I think she has been more than impactful than 2 goals tonight.
And a close second, DeVreaux.
Absolutely. DeVreaux has been there too. She assisted and sparked a lot of movement for them, but Caroline Ritter has done more than keep 2 goals out of the back of her own net. She has kept 3, 4, sometimes even 5 opportunities out.
Yeah, the 2 that I remember in particular is the Seymour shot in the first half, and then the shot from distance in the second half that she had to tip up and over the bar. I mean, those were 2 would-be goals, and we're talking about a different game if those go in.
And those aren't even some of the better ones. We forget about how good Emily Murphy's opportunity was.
Yep.
Sutter had one on the doorstep that she came and claimed. They've had a handful of corners that they just haven't been able to connect on. So, yes, the unofficial woman of the match in our eyes would be Caroline Ritter. Again, the Lindenwood product, second-team all-conference, has done about as good a job as they could have hoped for tonight for Lou Fusz Athletic in goal.
Overall, I've just been impressed with Lou Fusz and their structure and their discipline. They've made a lot of changes and substitutions, but you can see everyone is on the same page. Everybody's connected. And they leave this match with a shutout, which goes to show, they can not only score goals like we saw in their first match and 2 goals tonight, but they can also defend as a team.
Absolutely. We did hear over the inter-arena PA tonight there'll be a minimum of 6 minutes of time added back on, so just a touch longer than we thought we might get, but not out of the realm of possibility.
Mr. Gross must think he's getting paid by the hour tonight.
I'm sure you'll remind him of that after the game tonight. Again, strong physical play on the near side towards us here along the press box, as we are over 40 seconds into stoppage time. Charging on and out of the back. This will be a goal kick for Rhodes.
Like we talked about, it's still a lot of positives you can take from this game if you're Peoria City. You know, I was at the Indianapolis game last weekend, and FC Pride was a good side. They were a really good side, and this is a good Lou Fusz team too. And Peoria City has been competitive in both matches. They scored a goal in the first game. They've generated a lot of opportunities tonight. You know, just got to clean up a few little things here and there, and this is going to be a competitive program this season.
Absolutely could be the case. Seymour does a good job of walling off in traffic. It is turned over to Lou Fusz off Murphy. And we'll have another substitution coming in for Lou Fusz. It will be Vasilov once again re-entering.
Lou Fusz substitution for Madison Vasilov.
Lou Fusz kind of having the correct read of things in the midfield thus far. We're over 2 minutes now into stoppage time. Vasilov to DeVroe. Strong tackle. We'll send it right back to Lou Fusz on the throw-in.
Just a reminder, fans, fireworks will begin just a few minutes after the conclusion of this match.
Should we let the team know they only got about 2 to 3 minutes to clean up before the fireworks?
Well, I'm kind of getting a sinking feeling. They're going to get caught in the same predicament we are, where all of a sudden it's going to get very dark as we're trying to pack up after tonight's game. 3 minutes gone here in stoppage time at Shea Stadium in Peoria, Illinois. Again, Cody Roskins here alongside me, Mike Bear of Peoria Notre Dame. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Been a very good contest between Lou Fusz and Peoria City. Here in the home opener in the history of Peoria City women's soccer team at the WPSL level. Their WPSL 2 team earlier today was in action. Not here at Shea Stadium, but was able to earn a draw.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow as well. It's actually going to be the first ever Peoria City U20 Academy game hosted at Peoria Notre Dame at 2 p.m. So I encourage you to come out if you're in the area.
Crotty and company really with some slick moves through, and Murphy just hits it as hard as she can, and it was blocked well. And this may be the last real chance Peoria City has to get one on goal, as it will be a corner kick. Over 4 minutes gone here in stoppage time of the 6 we were told would be put back on. Be an in-swinging ball from the near side. Line towards that back post. Ritter somehow got a punch on that. And I still think it almost had a chance to come off one of the members of Peoria City.
Yeah, I couldn't tell who that dropped to, but it ended up almost being a free header at the 6. Ritter, again, did a great job of just contesting that header and making it difficult.
Yeah, one of the members of Peoria City along that back post almost had a chance to smash one in, but Lass falls to, once again, Ritter. And sending it deep into the Peoria City defensive third, as we are over 5 minutes gone here in stoppage time. Again, give you another read-off of the stat line tonight. 11 shots, 4 saves, 8 corners for Peoria City. 9 shots, 6 saves, 2 corners for Lou Fusz Athletic. All under serve. Peoria City, though, still able to maintain a bit of possession here. Perhaps one more opportunity. Service in is blocked and will be another Peoria City corner. As we are beyond the 5.5-minute mark, so that final whistle coming any minute here.
And the fans have stuck around too. They've stuck around to the end, so it'd be, be a highlight for them if they get to celebrate a
home goal.
Home goal, right?
Another in-swinging ball. We'll see if this one has a little bit of magic on the end of it. Towards the top of the 18. Swung back outside. Driving on, crossed back in, towards the back post, headed around, still couldn't punch it through.
Just wasn't meant to be tonight.
Wasn't in the cards for Peoria City tonight, but still a great effort against a solid Lou Fusz Athletic side. The final score here from Shea Stadium in Peoria, Illinois. Lou Fusz Athletic 2, Peoria City 0. For Cody Roskins and for Mike Baer, we're going to step aside for a quick commercial break. We want to thank you for tuning in and hope to see you next time.
Peoria, Illinois, where an afternoon together opens up a world of adventure, and every splash becomes a shared adventure, where imagination runs as big as the machines themselves, proving that wonder comes in all sizes. Whoa! In Peoria, every adventure begins with just one step, and every doorway leads to discovery.
If you want to improve your game, contact the Yard to book a batting cage or field today.
Is your business surrounded by success?
Ours is.
Absolutely. 100% yes.
Knowing your company is surrounded by the best in the business is a great feeling. And that's the feeling you'll have working with PIP.
They manage our direct mail campaigns.
They produce all of our signage. They print our marketing materials.
For marketing, signs, and print, surround your business with more than 50 years of success. PIP.
Here's another home improvement insight from Custom Bath Solutions. Most bathroom remodels happen for two reasons: to keep up with style trends or to keep up with your changing family. We can take today's neutral trends and pops of color and pair them with 2-day tub-to-shower conversions, a spa-like oasis, or a no-barrier shower with grab bars as your family needs. Get started today and save 10%. Call 309-699-1100, click on CustomBathroomSolutions.com, or visit the Prairie Home Alliance showroom in Washington.
At Auto House of Peoria, we pride ourselves in delivering the best ownership experience in Central Illinois. From newly redesigned state-of-the-art facilities to community involvement right here at home, Auto House of Peoria strives to be your premier auto destination. Shop online at AutoHouseOfPeoria.com today.